Hi everyone, here for a quick WhatsApp demo of a new feature I've just rolled out for organizations, which is called Chat with Your Data. It allows you to basically use an AI agent to get beyond some of the out-of-the-box canned charts and reports you can already get if you're an organization through the website, and allows you to use basically word-based prompts and questions for letting the AI interpret your data in ways that those charts reports just haven't done that yet, and you can get beyond those and see what other insights you can glean from that. So without further ado, I'm going to show you now how the feature works on the actual website, on the actual live data. And obviously I've tested the feature on the test data set, but this is going to be the first time I'm going to be actually trying it out on an actual production data set. So let me just switch to my screen. There you go. That's the browser. We're on the WhatsApp website on the Insights link. As you can see, at the moment we have 24 outreaches, 47 encounters. That's across 4 different organizations, including the independent activities as it's all counted as one organization. 6 active evangelists there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in as an organization. Is going to be as Christian Street Conversation, which is my own organization. So I'll be showing you my own data. And this is, if you want to see some of that data in action, you can see my YouTube channel. Just type in Christian Street Conversations YouTube channel in YouTube, and you'll see some of those conversations actually as recorded. So I'm going to just log in with my PIN here. And here we go. This is the latest view just for Christian Street Conversations. That's 14 outreaches, 16 encounters to date. So to get to the Chat with Your Data feature, you would click on this little magic button here. It will just ask you to confirm that you indeed want to chat with your data. You would have to agree, basically sending your data, so the entirety of your data, the outreaches, the parameters of each outreach and of each encounter that is recorded will be sent to an AI agent, and a chat will be initiated. So let's confirm yes to that. It's going to take a bit of time. There we go. The agent comes back. Outreach data obtained and processed. How can I help? That's a good news. So I'm going to test it through just a couple of prompts that I thought would be interested to try it out. So obviously we already know there's 14 outreaches, 16 encounters. What I don't provide out of the box is necessarily the average number. So let's base the question. What is the average number of encounters per outreach? It's a very simple question. It's dividing one number against another. Not that you would ever need to ask it, but just to kind of get us going, I'm just going to start off with this simple question. Let's ask. Let's see, the AI hopefully comes back with a simple answer. And here we go. Its average number of encounters per outreach is 1.14. Yep, that's about right. And gives us a little bit more of calculations. Some additional statistics. How many outreaches have 0 encounters? There's 4, and 10 with encounters. So for those that do have outreaches that do have encounters, there's 1.6 on average. So it's quite interesting. Didn't even ask for that data, but it's quite useful to have it. And as you can see, the agent is quite eager to give us more insights, other factors, because it's got data, like I said, all the data that you would have otherwise received. Let's say if you were to download your Word report or Excel report, all of that data is now with the AI agent, and it can interpret that data in whatever way you would like. So I'm going to ask it the next question, and this is a little bit more now involved. And usually what I would imagine most of our chats with data would do is when encounter descriptions are entered, they can include some very interesting information about what kind of questions seem to come up in the conversations with people. So there's no charts necessarily that would describe that, because that's free form data and text, and difficult to provide in a structured way. But with AI agent, we should be able to get some themes from those encounters. So let's see, maybe questions about suffering come up, maybe the questions come up about science versus religion. So let's ask it, considering the encounter descriptions, what are some of the common themes that are brought up in conversation? So let's ask that question. It's taking a bit of its time to think on this one. I think it's analyzing all of those encounters. And here we go. It actually gave us quite a detailed response. I'm going to have to scroll down on this one. So common themes and encounter descriptions. It analyzed 16 descriptions qualitatively into identifying recurrent topics, objections, and discussion points that were extracted by keyword frequency, context, and narrative patterns. E.g., gospel sharing is mentioned in 15 out of 16 descriptions, and it gave us a ranked summary of the most common themes with approximate frequency, examples, and insights. This is wonderful. I didn't know again what to expect. It gave quite a considered response here. So let's see some of these things. I'm probably not going to spend time to go through all of these, but that's just out of interest what it came up with. Sharing the gospel of salvation through Jesus, 15 out of 16 encounters, core idea. Obviously, this is what we would do. This is why the encounters do happen. Give us some examples, some, I guess, quotes from the encounter, and it gave us a little bit of an idea, insight. This is the evangelist's primary goal, often tied to Easter basic questions like who goes to heaven. Yep, that is thankfully that is a good theme. But let's say, okay, so problems of sin, justice, and God's attributes. Okay, yeah, so that's interesting. Humanity's sinfulness, need for punishment, God's love and justice met in Christ, good works versus or no punishment. Again, some examples about where that came up in conversation. Frequently contrasts Christianity with Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, some skeptics. Okay. So that's 11 out of 16 conversations. Again, a very strong theme there. Next theme, about half of the time, authority and reliability of the Bible and scriptures came up in my conversation, which is true. Whether Bible is eyewitness truth or unnecessary decoration, lack of knowledge or rejection of Bible as authoritative source. Again, some examples, some insight common with atheists, agnostics, evangelists, or just reading. There's me reading Gospel of John in those situations. Okay, great. And then some lesser themes, Trinity, Jesus as God, incarnation, that would come up in dominant Muslim encounters. Obviously, 4 out of 6 mentions with Muslims come up with it. But sometimes even Christians seem to question them. That's interesting. And then skepticism, science, evidence, and truth claims, and a few conversations as well, where I would push, that's me, evangelist pushes evidence for resurrection to push through some of that skepticism, which is true. I use the resurrection and the evidence for it to basically say that this is one of our strongest propositions that we have as Christians in terms of historicity of our claims. And then some other ideas here, comparison to other religions, cultures, other notable themes, encourages personal seeking encouragement, Christian nominalism, weak faith, and tools, methods. This I guess something that I would mention in my narrative, that something came up as a result of, let's say, of a poster we put up or some sort of preaching that went on or leaflet sharing and so on and so forth. And the fact that I would oftentimes in my Christian Street conversations, I would share the name of my YouTube channel with those I would converse with so they can see their own conversation. Okay. Key insights, I guess a summary. Most conversations start skeptical, resistant, but end amicably. That is great. Muslim engagements dominate non-Christian talks. 5 encounters focusing on justice, Trinity. Yep. Opportunities to follow up they said they'll look into that, keep an open mind. So that's great. We want to leave people interested and open to search even after they end up speaking to us. And gaps, a few conversions followed through emphasis on prior evidence could build on receptance. Gives us some, I guess, maybe some recommendations, some insights to think through. Okay, well, this is great. This is obviously just 16 encounters, statistically not very significant, but enough for the AI agent to give us some themes here. Okay, great. Better than I thought it would be. Obviously, we can then deep dive into that. It's offering us to do by religion, by ethnicity, by receptiveness, to do more correlations in that way. But I'm going to prepare that third question that I'm going to be asking it, and that is, and the final one, you'll be pleased to know. There we go. Very basic question, but again, something that I don't have necessarily charts built for, and that is, are there any correlations between weather conditions and the number of encounters per outreach? In other words, is weather a factor with the number of encounters that we have when we start an outreach? So those times that I didn't have any encounters, was the weather particularly bad on those days, and when it's been sunny and good conditions, do the encounters sort of happen? Again, can be interesting given the statistical significance here is not too many outreaches and encounters to draw too many conclusions from, but let's give it a try. So let's ask that. Again, it's taking its time to think this through. Okay, it came back. And this is our question, and the answer: correlations between weather encounters per outreach, which only 14 data points. Statistical correlations are weak and not definitive. Great, yeah, that's what I expected. Small sample size limits power. Pearson, no precipitation. However, there's a descriptive analysis grouping by weather variables against encounters per outreach. Okay, so it gives us summary of statistics. These are the average per encounters, medians, and some notes. It gives us the breakdown by temperature, different ranges of temperature within the cold conditions, how many outreaches were had, how many total encounters versus mild versus warmer. Some observations, breakdown by humidity. Okay, some observations here. Peak, add mild temperature. So, okay, interesting. Yes. So at mild temperatures, I had so far the most number of encounters. 3 at 9.5 Celsius. Colder nights had 2 encounters by chill. Okay, so that's an interesting observation. There's also lower humidity correlates loosely with more encounters. Dry air maybe equals more people out. Question mark. Yeah, it's an interesting observation. Wind speed has been actually quite a big one in sort of generally speaking in outreach circles. Higher wind usually means less encounters. People don't like, even more than rain. People less that sort of wind blowing. It's difficult to keep your concentration, to keep around still if you're in a high wind. So let's see. Observation: windier days did not deter. For example, one of the highest wind days, so 20.9 kilometers per hour, had 2 encounters. Okay, so that's interesting. That's contrary to what I just said, but again, maybe just because of the number of data points, maybe this is just an anomaly. And I actually do think that those days, and this was just over the Easter break, where it was really, really warm and sunny after a long period of rain, people came out. Even though it was very windy, but I think because of sun after a long period of rain and cloudiness, I think people just went out, and I actually had a number of good encounters in that time. So again, these anomalies would probably be washed out as more data points come out. Okay, so potential confounders and insights. So these are the summaries. Points then: no strong weather effect. Encounters happen across condition. People brave the cold wind in London park streets. Okay, so nothing really to see so far. Very weak correlation so far. maybe the location matters more, it's asking. And again, maybe for my situation where I only mainly do outreaches in 2 different locations, one in kind of concentrated around the area of Charlton where I live, and the other one in Oxford Circus. And so maybe it's trying to find out some correlations there. There's day versus night. Interesting. Okay, so 10 outreaches during the day, 4 in the night, but it's on average. The number of encounters did not seem to be that different. And group versus alone. When I'm in groups, which I usually would be in the Oxford Circus outreach, seems to be better, 1.5 encounters, versus when I'm alone, I seem to have less encounters. So that's an interesting one as well. That I would be more when I'm in Charlton by myself. And so it gives us a little bit of suggestion. Maybe warmer, milder, drier conditions slightly favor more encounters, but outreach type location, it's more the dominant signal here. But obviously the future data could test with regression. So it could basically, future data could be added and it could regress, test some of these conclusions based on the historical data. So there you go. Quite amazing, interesting. This is much, much more than I thought I was going to get. These are some good insights, a good start, and just 3 questions that I posed it. And it did so, I would say, very, very well. So I will look forward to playing around with this a lot more. I would encourage some of the organizations that are already onboarded to now have a try this feature, see what they think. Quite excited actually with seeing how this can be used and what sort of insights come through. And there you go. Let me know kind of what you thought. More to come. Exciting times. Thank you again for watching, and hope to see you in the next video. God bless.